I want to say thank you very much for being here. We have Tea Party activists from all over the state of New Hampshire, and actually all over New England. We've got some groups represented from New York, groups represented from Vermont, from all over New England coming here standing. And we are here today to stand and to counter-rally the involvement of Governor Mitt Romney in the Tea Party Express rally. And we're going to have a couple of speakers come up and explain exactly why we as Tea Party members would stand in opposition to Governor Romney's involvement in a Tea Party Express event. The first speaker that I'm going to have for you is Tim Carter. Tim Carter is from Meredith, New Hampshire. He is a leader of the Lakes Region Tea Party. Tim?
Thanks very much, Andrew. Thanks very much for coming today, everyone. The reason that Andrew asked me to come and speak today is that Andrew and I are pretty much politically aligned, and I've given a lot of thought. I've given a lot of thought to this upcoming election, and this is the election that's going to go down in history as one almost as important as really the founding of our great nation, because we are at a tipping point. And right now, we need leadership in this country that we have not seen for decades. We do not need leadership that puts their finger up, sees which way the wind's blowing, and then all of a sudden changes their mind and goes that direction. If you look at Mitt's past voting record, I think that's what you're going to see. And right now, we need a leader that's going to take the arrows. We need somebody that thinks a lot like the Founding Fathers did. And as I was driving down here today, I thought a little bit about this. I thought about something that my daughter taught me with respect to my own business. And I'll tell you this quick little story. Whenever I get in a little bit of a dilemma and I have an ethical decision to make in business, and you know, ethics are completely different than legal issues. You know, ethics are just, they're a different area. She says, Dad, you just imagine that you're on the Bill O'Reilly show, and you imagine that Bill O'Reilly is interviewing you about that situation. And if you can take the heat from Bill O'Reilly, then whatever decision you make, it's going to be fine. Well, you know what? That's the situation we're in right now with respect to the candidates for this upcoming 2012 election. In other words, but instead of the Bill O'Reilly test, I call it the Founding Fathers test. Imagine for yourself if the Founding Fathers were here today and they had access to Mitt's past record and they saw that he was trying to align himself with the Tea Party and what principles really stand for. I think that they would shake their head. I think they would have some really, really tough questions for Mitt, because when it comes to less government, which the Tea Party stands for, how could you possibly explain that with Romney Care? It doesn't even compute. When it comes to less taxes, are you kidding me? Look at his past record. So, God bless Mitt Romney. He's allowed to run. He's here in America. You know what? I grant him that right. But as far as I'm concerned, as a co-leader of the Tea Party and the Lakes region here in New Hampshire, and you know what? His house is just a few miles from where we meet. I've not even heard from the man. I've not even heard from one of his representatives in his campaign. You would think that we would be one of the first people that he would contact to at least come and talk to us, see about making some type of presentation of one of his people. Never even heard from him. So what does that tell you about Mitt and his alignment now, all of a sudden this sudden alignment with the Tea Party? I don't buy it. I don't think you should buy it. And once again, let Mitt's record, that's what tells you what's going to happen, because right now we cannot deal with another person who's going to give us hope. And you know why? Because hope is the emotion of last resort. Hope is what you do when you can't control the outcome of something. Well, guess what? We can control the outcome of 2012 election, and that's what all the Tea Parties across America are going to do. You're going to see it happen. And we are a very, very formidable force that you have to deal with. And all I can tell you is that we are working as hard as possible to bring the best candidate so that we can get out of the mess that all of these past career politicians have got us in. And Andrew, I'm going to turn it back to you.
Thank you very much. So it's Tim Carter from Meredith, New Hampshire, the leader of the Lakes Region Tea Party. Next up, we're going to have Jerry DeLemus. Jerry DeLemus is the leader of the Granite State Patriots Liberty PAC from the Seacoast, and he's going to speak just for a few minutes.
Thanks, Andrew. Well, the The concern that I have about what's going on across the way, which I will watch that, is that, as Tim had said, is the Liberty groups in New Hampshire have reached out to Governor Romney to speak to us. Most of the other candidates, including Buddy Roemer, who many of you spoke to earlier, who was here, including Newt Gingrich, Michelle Bachmann, Sarah Palin, who's not running as of yet at least, and many of the others, Plenty, Santorum, have spoken with us. They've taken the time to have a conversation with us. That dialogue has not been opened up by Governor Romney. And we have called to him, reached out to his groups, to his team, and he has yet to respond to us. And it's frustrating. As then we see him over with the backdrop of the Tea Party Express vans, and what we don't want is him portrayed as New Hampshire's Tea Party candidate, because we don't know. We haven't had that opportunity to have that conversation with them. And a photo op is just that. It's a photo op. I could have my picture taken out of in front of the Supreme Court. That does not make me a Supreme Court justice. I would really urge that Governor Romney reach out to us as in New Hampshire, the Liberty groups within New Hampshire, and open up that dialogue. His voting record, obviously, and as governor of Massachusetts, hasn't been in line with Tea Party principles. But we'd like to have that conversation with him and let him explain his positions on and his reasoning for the voting that he has done in the past. I think Sarah Palin said it really well in Iowa yesterday, is to replace Obama with just a suit. And that suit, in fact, is not representative of the Tea Party ideals, is a dangerous thing for America. We're at a tipping point economically, and the Tea Party, and the first Tea Party was run by Sam Adams, and we all know what a great patriot he was, is the tip of the spear. We're the tip of the spear. We understand what's going on, and we're trying to get the rest of America to wake up to those facts and the situation that America faces. And I would just urge all of you, anybody who can ask him a hard question over there, ask him those questions, and ask him why he hasn't met with the Tea Party groups in New Hampshire. That's the question. Why not? I mean, the buses show up, and so does Mitt. And I'll tell you this, is if he's not willing to speak to the New Hampshire Tea Party groups and Liberty groups in New Hampshire, he should just get on one of those buses and leave the state with them and see maybe he'll do better in South Carolina. Maybe he'll talk to those people. Thank you.